morning. I'm Shauna and I'm here with Jaya and Raven, my little Raven girl. Say good morning, Raven. Good morning. Happy Monday morning. Let me get her comfortable. Come here. Come here. She always wants to crawl into my neck. Okay. So today I have the last book. It's book number 3 and it's called Betty Dog and Jaya's Power Pack. So it's the final book of the trilogy in Betty Dog. And I'll start with the dedication. It says, "This book is dedicated to anyone who has ever felt unfairly judged. If you've ever had anyone else tell or believe a story about you that wasn't true, you know how much that can hurt. But remember that only you get to determine what your real story is. You know the truth about what is really inside of you, and that is what matters." From Betty Dog. So chapter 1 is called Freedom Flight. "Okay, kids," said Skylar's mom as their car crawled down the long gravel drive which led to the airport. "It looks like we're here. Let's find a place to park and go meet our new foster dog." "Is this really an airport?" asked Gavin as he pressed his face against the car window. "It's so small." "I wonder where the planes land," added Skylar as she unhooked her seatbelt and stretched behind her brother to look at the fields that surrounded the parking lot. "Maybe over there behind the trees?" "Look, I can see a small runway behind the building," shouted Skylar's friend Gigi. She smiled. "It must be back there." "I know this isn't what you're used to seeing when you think of an airport," said Skylar's mom. "You're right that this isn't a big place. But just remember, it's still very special. Did you know that the pilots who rescue these dogs are volunteers? That means they don't get paid to do this. They do it because they have big hearts, and they love dogs so much. Imagine them flying into another small airport somewhere, loading up a few dogs, and then taking off again to bring them to us." "Wow, that really is nice," said Gavin. "Maybe I'd like to do that someday." "Just think, guys, your dog is flying through the air right now," laughed Gigi as she opened the car door. "Yeah, that's pretty crazy," smiled Gavin as he followed Skylar and Gigi out of the car. They crossed the parking lot and opened the door to a small white building. The waiting room was filled with several families, with everyone talking at once. A few people were sitting on chairs, while others walked around sharing pictures of the dogs they were waiting to meet. Some were approved to adopt, others were going to be temporary foster homes. Suddenly a door flew open in the back of the waiting area, and in came one of the pilots leading a Siberian husky by the leash. "Who's getting the husky?" he called out. "We are," a family with 4 children scrambled to meet their newest family member. The husky looked around excitedly as everyone leaned in to gently pet her and say hello. The pilot left and returned a few minutes later leading a small, golden-colored dog with a beautiful white furry neck that looked like a scarf made of snow. "Who gets this one?" he called out. "I think that's Jaya," gasped Skylar. "She's beautiful." "That's ours," called Gavin as he ran over to the pilot, who handed the leash to him. Gavin held his hand out in front of Jaya's nose so she could sniff and say hello. Jaya was trembling a little and not quite looking at anyone. Both Skylar and Gigi stood back to let her look around while she got used to being on the ground again. Meanwhile, the pilot handed a folder of paperwork to Skylar's mom as he talked to her about the flight. "She's a beautiful golden red color," said Gigi. "I think she matches your hair, Sky. Your new dog looks like part of your family. She's perfect." "Actually, I think her hair is more blonde like Gavin's," Skylar answered, "only prettier. She's like the golden color of sunlight. She's our Jaya-lite." "Okay, everyone," said Skylar's mom. "Time to take our girl home now. Are you done getting your pictures?" "Almost," said Skylar and Gavin as they clicked away with their cell phones. "I'm not allowed to have a cell phone until I'm 13, sighed Gigi. "You guys are so lucky. If I need to text somebody, I have to use my mom's phone." "You know what," said Skylar's mom. "Put your phones away. I think you're the lucky one, Gigi. The pictures are nice, but this is real time, and it's important. We won't get this moment back again. So let's save this special time in our minds, rather than a few selfies in our phones. Ready? Everyone look around, please. Think about how brave Jaya was to leave the plane and come into this building. And always remember how it felt to see her for the very first time." Here's a picture. Skylar and Gavin shoved their phones back into their pockets and looked around the crowded waiting room. Get your phone. They could feel the noisy, happy energy of the other families who were still meeting their dogs. Suddenly, the back door opened again, and in bolted a big German shepherd, wearing a huge smile as he ran to meet his new family. As they gathered around him happily, he just smiled a big goofy grin and looked like he'd been with them forever. "All right, kids," said Skylar's mom, "now it really is time to go." The girls were all smiles as they followed Gavin through the crowd of families and dogs. He carefully led Jaya by the leash, opened the door, and stepped out into the fresh air again. Jaya paused and lifted her nose, taking in the new world around her. Her brown eyes were soft as she looked across the grounds and out toward the parking lot. She was free. She looked as if she knew the sad times were behind her now. The shelter, the cages, the stories and the lies that had been told about her. It was as if she was about to write a new story of her life. She knew this was her forever family. And deep down inside, she also knew that somehow she made it all happen. And we'll do chapter 2. It's called Jaya's Story. "Hi, Dad," called Skylar as they walked through the front door into their house. "Jaya's home." "Wow, that didn't take long," laughed Skylar's dad as he came into the foyer to meet his newest family member. "What a beautiful girl you are," he said as he held up his cell phone for a picture. "You're even prettier than your online pic." Are you itchy? Are you too itchy? Here, chew. The real Jaya's itchy. All right, she has allergies. Okay. "Dad, put your cell phone away," Gavin told him. "This is a special moment and you want to remember it in your mind, not your phone, right, Mom?" "Huh?" he said. "What are you talking about?" he asked as they made their way past him. Jaya was still sniffing the welcome mat near the front door, so he ran over and snapped a quick picture. "Oh, we're just reminding each other not to be spending too much time behind our phones," Skylar's mom told him as she smiled at Gigi, "especially when you're meeting somebody for the very first time." "You're right, that makes sense," he answered. "Let's give Jaya a nice welcome tour of her new house, and then later we'll get some pics and videos. Sound good?" "Yes," they all agreed. "How about we start with the backyard," he told them. "Maybe she'd like to run around a little." "Just watch out for Cheryl the Feral," said Gavin. "Jaya's bio said she hates cats." "What do you mean her bio says she hates cats? Her biography says she's great with cats. They even posted a picture of her with a cat," said Skylar. "Who's Cheryl the Feral?" asked Gigi. "Oh, that's Charlotte, the cat who lives on our deck. She used to be a feral cat, but ever since we started feeding her, she stays on our property. Dad even made her a little kitty house that's heated in the winter. Gavin calls her Cheryl the Feral, but she's really not feral anymore. She's even been to the vet for her shots," said Skylar. "She loves us now. You can tell that we're her family. I just hope she likes Jaya." "Well, until we know which story is right, we'll always keep Jaya on a leash and walk her very carefully across the deck and yard," said Skylar's dad. "Agreed?" "Yes," they all nodded. Skylar's dad took the leash from Gavin and opened the sliding glass door to the deck. Very slowly, they all walked onto the deck, past the glider where Charlotte was curled up, relaxing in the late-day sun. Jaya glanced toward her and gently wagged her tail. Charlotte looked at her sleepily and closed her eyes again. Then Jaya was led down the steps and out into the yard. They watched from the deck as she checked out her new yard and even broke into a happy little gallop before she was led back inside. "Well, that went well," said Skylar's mom. "We'll still have to be careful until they get to know each other, but for a first meeting, it sure didn't look like Jaya has a problem with cats. I wonder why they said that." There's a picture. "I think I know why," said Gigi. "When I saw her bio online, she had just been returned to the shelter by some family because it didn't work out. That happened at least twice. Every time she got returned, she got a new bio." "Oh my gosh," said Skylar. "We all saw different biographies with different stories about her." "And every time she got returned, they had to give a reason," said Gavin. "Some of the reasons were pretty dumb. Look," he said as he opened his laptop for them to see. "It says she sheds too much. See? It says heavy shedder." "But on mine it said someone in the family was allergic to dog hair," said Gigi. "That wasn't Jaya's fault." "Wait," said Skylar, who was looking at one of Jaya's stories on her phone. "Are you ready for this? She was returned because the owner said she looked bored. He wanted a more exciting dog. And every time a dog is returned to the shelter, they are considered less adoptable," added Skylar's mom. "I get it," said Skylar's dad. "It's like trying out for a pro football team. Maybe a big team picks you up and lets you work with them for a while. You're excited and hope for a nice contract. But then you get an injury or you had a bad performance that wasn't your fault. After a while, nobody wants you. Poor Jaya, like a quarterback that's been released." "Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it," replied Skylar's mom. "At least you're trying to imagine how she must be feeling right now." "I can't believe you turn everything into a sports story, Dad," said Skylar. "I'm just giving an example," he told her. But pro athletes who aren't wanted by a team don't get put to sleep, like these nice dogs, Gavin added. Gigi ducked her head and tried not to laugh. Skylar's parents were so nice to save this dog, and sometimes they were actually cool parents, but tonight they seemed more like parents on a TV sitcom. She looked over at Jaya, who was laying on her new dog bed listening to the conversation around her. Maybe sometime I can bring my dog Grace over and they can play together, Gigi said to Skylar. Yes, answered Skylar, that would be great. And maybe Fiona could bring Betty Dog too, Gigi added. Like a play date, said Skylar's mom. Did you hear that, Jaya? The girls are lining up friends for you. Let's just give her a little time to settle in first. Then we'll work on her social life. Look, she's sleeping in her new bed, said Gavin. She must be comfortable here. Do you think she's bored? Asked Skylar's dad, sounding a little worried. No way, answered her mom. She probably just wants to rest up, to get ready for her new life with us. I'm sure she's really excited to be here. I saw her eyes light up when she saw you for the first time. Really? He asked. Sort of, she said with a smile, and then broke into a laugh. Try to relax, honey. I'm sure Jaya will love us soon enough. Then she turned to Jaya and said, Welcome to your new family, Jaya. We're a little crazy, but we have a lot of love. That's it for today. I have little Raven is trying her best to get, to get into my shoulder or up to my neck. Say goodbye. Have a good day. And we'll give Jaya something for her allergies. Have a good day, everybody.